Okay, so we're going to have a bit of a look at the alignment of the ATR800. There's 96 adjustments and presets in a 4-track that you've got to do electronically on each of the boards. And after pulling out my old 4-track alignment tape, which is about 40 years old, I found out the thing was totally useless. Apart from shedding oxide, it was out of alignment. Real big problem. If you go to the web, you can actually download the AMPEX notes on using the fluxloop method of aligning tape machines. It's very, very good. Now that I've gone down that path and invested a lot of time, energy and money, I wouldn't do it any other way. So the whole process of the flux loop is that you have, in this case I've laser cut out some acrylic guides onto which I've actually wound, in this case I'll tell you the number, 20 turns of wire on each of these. So I've got one for 1/4 inch, one for 1/2 inch, one for 1 inch, and there's also a 2-inch one, but I haven't had a 2-inch machine here to test, so I have used all three of the others. So in the case of the this AMPEX 4-track, we use the 1/2 inch one, and the idea is if we have a look at it, there's 2 slots. So what you do is you actually splice it into a section of tape, and then of course what happens is the actual loop itself sits on the heads with the tape so that it's vertically against the head, and what you can do then is feed in some audio signals. Now if you have a look in the AMPEX documentation online, you can do it with a normal audio oscillator that's calibrated, and you can build up an RC network for the different EQs and speeds. In my case, I've spent probably about a week writing some code for an Arduino. So there's a standard Arduino Nano down there, and what it does is it generates certain frequency sweeps all the way up to a maximum of 10 kilohertz. The normal alignment frequency I use is 440 hertz, not 1K, 440 hertz, middle A. And that's used to do the EQ for any speed and any EQ. And I can select those. Don't have to go away building RC networks, it's going to be right, but I thought I'd just show you that anyway. So my method of doing the alignment is different from the handbook. The instruction manual is okay, providing you've got a good reference tape. The only one I could find was about $2 to buy a 4-track alignment tape. And I wasn't about to do that on this machine because I've got so much money and time invested in it, it's just crazy. So the flux loop method is really good. And the way that I've done it is you do the replay channel first, and of course you want to put your flux loop on the replay head, which is the 3rd head down here. And the way that I do it, or have done it on this machine, is actually to do channel 1 first, the channel 1 replay alignment. You've got a whole heap of presets of the different speeds and EQ to do for the replay channel. And so what I basically did was to do one channel, channel 1 first, and got that one spot on. And then what I did is I rotated channel 2 into the channel 1 position, channel 3, channel 4, and did the full replay EQ for each of the boards in that position, so every board was identical. The good thing about that is it shows up if you've got any faults. And again, yep, culprits, electrolytic capacitors, yep, a heap of those needed to be replaced in all the boards. After replacing and recapping all the replay boards, they all lined up exactly the same. And the beauty about it is with the multi-turn pots you can see there's a little optical guide exactly where they are between board to board, and that way I ended up with, as a reference, in this case of the 4-track, all 4 boards are exactly the same. So the next candidate, after getting all the replay channels into channel 1, was then just to trim them, to set up the flux loop and trim each channel in the right position for the differences in the heads. And that was only very minor changes, very, very minor changes indeed that were needed to get it spot on.